Welcome back to BizTalk with Sherman. I'm your host. If you'd like to be able to on the story on the show and share your story in this Show Me world, feel free to reach out to me. Email is sherman.on@hgfin.net. Excited to have our next guest on, President of Compass Sales Solutions, Chris Beasley. It's also affiliated with the Sales Acceleration. He has over 30 years of sales leadership experience, and he has worked with owners of small and medium-sized businesses to help build a high-performance sales team and really drive growth. So, Chris, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Sherman. It's great to be here again. And I'd like to say, from what you were saying about businesses facing potential recession, that the smart ones will invest in their sales teams and really take advantage of the recession to build market share and to drive their company forward so they'll have momentum as they come out of the recession.
Thanks so much. So I know that one of the issues business owners often struggle with is how to pay salespeople. So kind of a good topic to talk about today. So with this kind of being a concern, what do you think business owners can do to really get it right in regards to that pay?
Yeah, that's right. Sales Acceleration has worked with thousands of companies and helped them build high-performance sales teams. And we've asked them how they pay their people before we start working with them and what they think about the effectiveness of their sales compensation programs. And consistently over the years, 4 out of 5 small and medium-sized businesses self-report that they have ineffective compensation plans and that it hurts their business. We've seen that 79% don't know if their sales compensation actually incents the right behavior. 83% don't know if they have sales representatives buy into the program. They don't have them sign the plan every year. They don't review it every year. 81% of them have the wrong mix of sales, base salary and incentive compensation. So it's a consistent problem across the whole country for small business owners. And over several decades of experience in building sales teams, I've found that there are really 5 key elements that are required to have in sales compensation to develop a high-performance team. The first is that the compensation plan must be win-win. Both sides must benefit. It can't be, only for the benefit of the company or only for the employee. It must incent. If you have an incentive plan, you want to incent the behavior that you want your people to engage in. It must be easy to understand. It has to have the right balance of variable and fixed compensation, and it must really reward the top performers and drive and encourage outstanding performance.
So when you talk about win-win, what does that kind of look like for an employer and the employee, or in this case, the sales representative?
Yeah. By win-win, I mean that the sales rep and the company win or lose together. So imagine a company culture where each team member is concerned about the same overall goal and not just their own. But if they follow their own goals and excel at them, the company will excel as well and both sides will benefit. So when you're looking at variable compensation or compensation plan, there really are 3 elements that you can use to vary a person's compensation: how well they do individually, how well their department does, and how well the overall company does. And so every incentive compensation plan must be tied to at least 2 of those things. And how much is overall company versus department versus individual sort of depends on the job and the degree to which that person can affect the overall company results. So the higher impact that job is, the greater percentage overall company is versus individual. Lower level people are going to be primarily incented based on their individual performance.
Now you talk about being able to incentivize sales representatives. What can a business owner really do to be able to make sure that that compensation aligns with that kind of behavior?
Well, as I said, self-reported, 79% of business owners don't really know if the compensation drives the right behavior. So the source of the problem is really predictable. So people will spend their time on the activities, the products, the accounts that make them the most money. So you need to think as a business owner, what is your strategic priority and what is your focus? Do you want people to focus on retention of key clients? Do you want them to focus on bringing in new clients? Do you want them to focus on pushing price increases? I was at a company that was in a situation where most of the prices were too low, the margins were low, and it was really important to push price increases. So we made the incentives focus on margins and not just revenues, but margins. So the sales representatives were incented to drive those price increases and to build profitability. But the important thing is to align the sales compensation to the company goals so that when the salespeople do what you're asking them to do, they get the maximum reward and the company achieves the goals that it wants to do. And the next thing is to really think through ways that the salespeople will be able to game the plan, because I guarantee that within 30 minutes after revealing the new annual sales incentive plan, that each sales rep will figure out what they need to do to be successful, which accounts they want to focus on, where they're going to spend their time. I've had sales representatives which were responsible for taking care of a certain account, but they got no credit for that in their bonus or their commissions. But they had to do it anyway. Well, you guarantee you're not going to spend a lot of time any more than you have to dealing with an account that you get no credit for when you should focus on the ones that you get bonus for. So really think through how they game that and how it can be, if they do what benefits themselves, it also benefits the company.
Now, I know you talked a little bit about making the plan easy to understand and that there should be some kind of combination of fixed or kind of base salary plus commission. How does that kind of get created then?
Now, people need to know where they stand. So I've seen some incredibly complex plans where nobody knows what they will make. And so I've seen sales plans that had 10 pieces to them. And 8 of those pieces were things that the sales rep himself absolutely had no effect on whatsoever. And so as you go through the month, as you go through the quarter, and you go through the year, they have no idea how what they do affects the compensation that they receive. It should be simple, it should be direct, easy to understand. So when I work with companies, I get the owners to focus on just big picture performance results, what has to be delivered that's easy to measure and consistent. I give every sales rep a simple spreadsheet calculator that's tied into the CRM system so that they can know exactly how they're doing all the time. Every week they need to know how they're doing relative to their goals, what their commission is likely to be this quarter, and what they have to do to maximize it. So keep it simple. Everybody knows what they're doing and how they're tracking.
Now, how can any of our viewers or listeners get a better idea of what can they be doing for their personal situation there for their business? Chris?
Well, first, I want to back up and talk for a second about base versus variable compensation. So you want to motivate your people to excel. You want them to be incented to go work harder and to be smarter and to do more. But you don't want them to be so uncomfortable that they're worried about their future, they're worried about paying the rent. Because if you have a star sales rep, yeah, it may be true that that person would do their best on a completely 100% commission plan, and that person is very confident, they know what they're doing. But when you have a new sales rep, they don't have that, and they're worried about paying their rent next month, and they're just getting started. So you need a balance. They need to be have a comfort level that they are going to be able to pay their rent, and they know what to do to excel. Because if they don't, they're going to spend all their time looking for a better job, and before they even get up to speed with your company. So unfortunately, sales acceleration has found over the years that a 50-50 blend of variable and fixed compensation works best for nearly every company. Unfortunately, only about 19% do this. 22% pay base salary only, 32% pay too much base, 20% pay too low a base, and 7% pay commission only. And you need to pay about 50-50, and you need to have your sales reps review and sign their plan every year and make sure that it's adjusted year by year to target and be consistent with the company goals. So you want to reward good performance and set a threshold for the bonus. So low performance, they might be able to barely pay their bills, but they're not going to get much of anything unless they achieve a certain threshold level.
Really good advice. Again, Chris, if anyone has ways that they want to be able to just kind of structure this, have a conversation, or more of a strategy, how can they reach out to you and your team there?
Certainly, contact me. I'll be happy to help or put them in touch with a local sales acceleration representative in their area, or give me a call directly at 713-588-0169. Thanks very much, Sermon.
Thanks, Chris. Now, Chris talked about sales. Folks, we're going to come back right back with a crucial element as well as part of that strategy, and that's marketing with expert Mike Moran. He'll take a quick commercial break and come right back with Mike.